Have you ever felt that after eating at someone's house, at a restaurant, or even in your own home, something changed inside you? An unexplainable discomfort, a feeling that something isn't right? You're not crazy, it's not a coincidence, and you're definitely not alone. We're talking about one of the oldest and most dangerous practices, witchcraft, through food and drink. What I'm going to reveal to you today is ancient knowledge, a secret kept for centuries in the most hidden pages of the book of Saint Cyprian. This powerful potion has freed hundreds of people who, like you, were victims of spiritual manipulations through food. I've seen shocking cases, a successful businessman who suddenly began making disastrous decisions after dining with a jealous partner. A beautiful woman who aged 10 years in just 6 months after having coffee at her mother-in-law's house. A brilliant student who lost all ability to concentrate after accepting a food gift from a classmate jealous of his achievements. This potion I'll show you today isn't simply a remedy. It's a powerful spiritual defense weapon that Saint Cyprian himself, a converted sorcerer, decided to reveal to combat black magic. He knew these secrets because before his conversion, he mastered the dark arts. Upon converting, he decided to share this knowledge so people could defend themselves. The most impressive thing is that this potion doesn't just expel witchcraft, it destroys it from the root. It doesn't matter if you've had this negative influence in your body for months, years, or even decades. The power of these sacred ingredients, combined according to St. Cyprian's precise instructions, can free you from that yoke you didn't even know you were carrying. Stay until the end of the video because I'm going to reveal not only the potion, but also how to identify if you really have ingested witchcraft and, most importantly, how to ensure it never affects you again. This knowledge could completely change your life, as it has changed the lives of so many others who came to me without hope and now live free from these evil influences. Hello. Hello, my spiritual emperors and empresses. Welcome to this sacred space of knowledge and power. For those who know me, you know that I don't dedicate myself to sharing just any type of information, but only those secrets that can truly transform lives. Today, I'm particularly excited because I'm going to share with you knowledge that I normally only transmit in private sessions with my closest consultants. This information about St. Cyprian's potion to expel ingested witchcraft is something few spiritual masters are willing to reveal publicly. Before we begin, I want to ask you 3 very important things. First, subscribe to this channel right now, because the algorithm tends to hide this type of powerful knowledge. Second, like this video so it can reach more people who, like you, are looking to free themselves. And third, share it with someone you feel might be suffering these symptoms without knowing the cause. Saint Cyprian reserved this knowledge only for initiates, those who were truly prepared to receive this power. But today, I feel it is my duty to share it more widely, because we are living in times where envy and bad intentions have multiplied exponentially. Remember that this ritual we are going to perform together is not a simple home remedy. It is a powerful spiritual procedure that combines ancient wisdom with natural ingredients that act on both the physical and spiritual planes. That's why I ask you to follow each step with respect and conviction. Prepare yourself to discover one of the most protected secrets from the book of Saint Cyprian, the magician who became a saint and decided to use his knowledge for good. Before getting into the details of this powerful potion, it's fundamental that we understand who Saint Cyprian was and why his knowledge is so valuable to us today. The story of this extraordinary character is fascinating and revealing. Saint Cyprian wasn't born a saint. In fact, he was quite the opposite. Born in Antioch in the 3rd century, Cyprian was a powerful magician and sorcerer, versed in all the dark arts of his time. From a young age, he traveled through Egypt, Chaldea, and India, learning the deepest secrets of magic, astrology, and divination. For years, he used his powers for selfish purposes, performing spells, curses, and dominations. Legend has it that his life changed when he met Justina, a devout Christian. Cyprian tried to seduce her using all his magical powers, but none worked against her due to her faith. This failure caused an existential crisis in Cyprian, who began to question his beliefs and the origin of his powers. After deep reflection, Cyprian converted to Christianity, burned his magic books, and renounced his previous practices. However, and this is most important for us, he decided to document all his knowledge about black magic and how to counteract it. He understood that the best way to combat evil was by revealing its secrets and methods. His writings, known as the Book of Saint Cyprian or Cyprian's Book, became one of the most powerful and respected grimoires in history. In these texts, Cyprian revealed both the dark practices and ways to neutralize them and protect oneself from them. The potion we're going to prepare today appears in one of the most protected chapters of his grimoire, specifically in the section dealing with magic and spells performed through food and drink. Saint Cyprian considered these practices particularly vile and dangerous, as they take advantage of trust and hospitality to introduce evil influences into the victim's body and spirit. In his writings, Cyprian mentions that he discovered this formula during his travels through Egypt, where ancient priests knew well the power of herbs and how they could both cause harm and heal. He perfected the formula by combining this knowledge with purification techniques learned during his travels through the East. The particularity of this potion is that it not only expels witchcraft, but also restores the body's energetic balance, strengthening its natural defenses against future attacks. Saint Cyprian considered it his most valuable creation for humanity, a true shield against the darkest intentions. On his deathbed, Cyprian asked that this knowledge not be lost, that it be transmitted to those who could use it for good and for the protection of the innocent. Today, centuries later, we are honoring his wish by sharing this powerful formula with you. Before preparing our potion, it's essential to understand exactly what these ingested witchcraft practices are and how they work. This knowledge will help you identify if you've been a victim and understand why our Saint Cyprian potion is so effective in combating them. Since ancient times, practitioners of black magic have used food and drink as vehicles for their spells. Why? For three fundamental reasons. First, food and drink enter directly into our body, carrying any magical influence with them. Second, by ingesting something, we are voluntarily opening our natural defenses. And third, no one suspects such an everyday and apparently innocent act as sharing a meal. The most common ways of performing these witchcraft practices include adding specific substances to food. For example, some use bodily fluids like blood, saliva, or even menstrual fluid, which in black magic are considered powerful energetic binders. Others use body parts like nails, hair, or powdered dead skin. There are also those who pronounce words or enchantments over food while preparing it, impregnating it with negative intentions. The motives behind these practices vary. Love domination is perhaps the most common. Someone seeks to have their partner or love interest under their control. Revenge is another frequent motive. An enemy seeks to cause suffering or failure. Professional envy leads some to try to sabotage the success of colleagues or competitors. And finally, some do it simply for the pleasure of exercising power over others. How do you know if you've been affected? The signs are numerous but subtle, easily confused with everyday problems. Observe if you experience several of these symptoms, especially if they began after sharing food or drink with someone. Sudden changes in personality or behavior. If you suddenly become irritable, depressed, or anxious for no apparent reason. Obsessive attraction to a specific person, especially if they're the one who offered you food or drink. Unexplained loss of vitality or energy. You feel constantly tired, unmotivated, continuous and inexplicable failures in areas where you were previously successful. Recurring dreams about the person you suspect might have worked magic on you. Feeling of heaviness in your stomach, as if something were alive inside you, changes in appetite or sleep patterns with no apparent medical cause, sudden estrangement from family and friends who warned you about certain people, feeling that your decisions aren't really yours, illnesses that doctors can't properly diagnose. If you're experiencing 3 or more of these symptoms, it's highly likely that you're under the influence of some type of ingested witchcraft. Don't be alarmed. This is precisely what we're going to solve today with St. Cyprian's potion. The most dangerous thing about these witchcraft practices is that, unlike other types of spiritual work, they settle inside your body and begin to generate an energetic host, a parasitic entity that feeds on your energy and alters your connection with your true self. Over time, this host can grow and strengthen its influence, causing the affected person to age prematurely, develop chronic diseases, or even fall into severe depressions that can lead to suicidal thoughts. That's why it's crucial to act quickly once you identify the symptoms. The potion we're going to prepare now has been specifically designed to attack and destroy that energetic host. Expel it from your body and restore your energy field to its natural state. Stay with me until the end, because after preparing the potion, I'll show you how to identify if you've really expelled the witchcraft. This knowledge could mark a before and after in your life. Before beginning the preparation of our powerful potion, we must ensure that the environment is properly prepared. St. Cyprian was meticulous regarding this point, as he understood that the energy of the space directly influences the effectiveness of the ritual. First, clean your work area thoroughly. This isn't just about physical cleanliness, but also energetic cleanliness. If possible, wipe down surfaces with a mixture of water and white vinegar, which St. Cyprian recognized as a powerful natural cleanser of negative energies. As you clean, visualize the space being purified and prepared to host a sacred ritual. The implements we'll use are also important. St. Cyprian specifically recommended using an earthenware or cast iron pot for preparing this potion. Why? Because these materials have a natural ability to contain and enhance magical energies. Avoid plastic or aluminum containers, as these modern materials can interfere with the energetic vibration of our ingredients. You'll also need a wooden spoon to stir the potion. Wood, being a natural material that was once living, maintains a connection to the life force that will help activate our ingredients. St. Cyprian specifically mentioned in his grimoire that a wooden spoon made from olive wood is ideal, but any wooden utensil will suffice. For the water, use spring water if possible. If not available, filtered tap water will work, but St. Cyprian advised placing it under the moonlight for at least one night before using it. This charges the water with lunar energy, which enhances its purifying properties. Prepare 500 milliliters, or about 2 cups of water. This is the exact amount needed for a single dose of our potion. More isn't necessarily better in this case. St. Cyprian was precise in his measurements because the balance of elements is crucial for the potion's effectiveness. Lastly, ensure that you won't be interrupted during the preparation process. Turn off your phone, ask for privacy, and create a space where you can focus completely on the ritual at hand. St. Cyprian emphasized the importance of intention and concentration when preparing magical remedies. With our space and tools properly prepared, we're now ready to move on to the sacred ingredients that will form the core of our powerful potion. Now that our space is properly prepared, let's move on to the heart of our ritual, the sacred ingredients that St. Cyprian himself selected for this powerful potion. Each one has specific properties that work together to create a formidable weapon against ingested witchcraft. The first and perhaps most powerful ingredient is rue. St. Cyprian considered rue to be one of the most potent protective herbs in existence. In his grimoire, he dedicates an entire chapter to this plant, describing it as the herb that makes demons tremble. For our potion, we'll need 2 sprigs of fresh rue, Rue has been used for thousands of years as a protective agent. In ancient Egypt, priests would hang rue in temples to ward off negative entities. In medieval Europe, it was called the herb of grace and was believed to strengthen a person's aura against magical attacks. And Cyprian discovered during his time as a sorcerer that rue has the unique ability to dissolve magical bonds, especially those created through ingested substances. However, I must warn you, rue contains powerful compounds that can be toxic in large amounts. That's why we're using a precisely measured quantity. Cyprian was very clear about this. 2 sprigs is the exact amount needed to be effective without causing harm. If you're pregnant or have liver or kidney issues, please consult with a healthcare professional before using rue. The second sacred ingredient is rosemary. Cyprian called rosemary the purifier and noted in his writings that when combined with rue, it creates what he termed the sacred fire, an energetic reaction that burns away negative influences. For our potion, we'll need 1 sprig of fresh rosemary or 1 tablespoon of dried rosemary. Rosemary has been associated with remembrance and clarity of mind. In St. Cyprian's understanding, witchcraft often clouds the victim's judgment and memory, making them forget their true nature and purpose. Rosemary works to clear this fog and restore mental clarity. Moreover, rosemary enhances the digestive process, helping the body physically expel harmful substances. In one of the most fascinating anecdotes from St. Cyprian's life, he tells of curing a nobleman who had been poisoned through wine by a jealous rival. The nobleman had been experiencing confusing thoughts, violent mood swings, and physical deterioration. St. Cyprian created a mixture of rue and rosemary that not only purged the poison, but also revealed the face of the poisoner to the nobleman in a dream that night. The third powerful ingredient is garlic. We need 3 cloves of garlic peeled and crushed. Garlic has been recognized across virtually all magical traditions as a powerful protective agent. St. Cyprian referred to it as the sword that cuts through enchantments. In his grimoire, St. Cyprian explains that garlic works on a vibrational level to disrupt magical frequencies that have attached themselves to the victim's energy field. The sulfur compounds in garlic literally burn through magical bonds at an energetic level. Additionally, garlic purifies the blood, which St. Cyprian believed was the primary carrier of magical influences throughout the body. There's a remarkable story in St. Cyprian's writings about a young woman who had been given a love potion by a persistent suitor. She became obsessed with him despite previously having no interest. Her family brought her to Cyprian, who immediately recognized the signs of magical domination. His remedy included garlic, and within 3 days, not only was she free of the obsession, but she could also see the man's true, malicious nature. The 4th ingredient in our potion is oregano. We'll need 1 teaspoon of dried oregano. St. Cyprian called oregano the revealer, as it has the unique property of bringing hidden things to light. In magical practices, oregano was used to uncover deception and expose lies. St. Cyprian noted that when someone has been affected by ingested witchcraft, there's often a veil placed over their perception, preventing them from seeing the truth about the person who performed the magic. Oregano works to lift this veil, allowing the victim to see clearly again. The final ingredient in our sacred formula is onion. We'll use half of a small onion, chopped. St. Cyprian referred to onion as the absorber and expeller, noting its dual action in first drawing out negative energies and then forcefully expelling them from the body. In his most secret writings, St. Cyprian explained that onions have a unique layered structure that mirrors the human energy field. When consumed in the proper ritual context, onion can penetrate through all layers of our being, finding magical intrusions and drawing them out. The sulfur compounds in onion, similar to those in garlic but with a different energetic quality, create an environment where magical entities cannot survive. With these 5 sacred ingredients, rue, rosemary, garlic, oregano, and onion, we have assembled the powerful formula that Saint Cyprian considered one of his most valuable contributions to humanity's spiritual protection arsenal. Now we're ready to begin the actual preparation of our Saint Cyprian potion. This process must be followed precisely, as the order of operations and the timing are crucial for activating the full power of these ingredients. Saint Cyprian was extremely methodical in his instructions, understanding that the effectiveness of the remedy depends on more than just the ingredients themselves. First, place your pot on the heat source and add the 500 milliliters, 2 cups of water. Allow the water to come to a full boil. Saint Cyprian specified that the water must be actively bubbling, as this violent motion helps to activate the water's purifying properties. In his grimoire, he writes, "Water that moves with vigor cleanses with vigor." As the water begins to boil, take a moment to center yourself. Saint Cyprian taught that the mental state of the preparer influences the potion's effectiveness. Take 3 deep breaths and set your intention clearly. This potion will purify and liberate. Your focus at this moment helps to direct the energies we're about to work with. Once the water has reached a rolling boil, it's time to add our first ingredient, the rue. Take the 2 sprigs of rue and, holding them in your right hand, which Saint Cyprian associated with the giving of power, add them to the water while saying, "By the power of rue, all evil is undone." You'll notice immediately that the water may change color slightly and a distinctive aroma will rise. This is normal, and according to Saint Cyprian, a sign that the magical properties are beginning to activate. Allow the rue to simmer for exactly 1 minute before proceeding to the next ingredient. Next, add the rosemary to the pot. As you do so, stir the potion 3 times clockwise, saying, "By the power of rosemary, clarity returns and protection is established." The clockwise motion, or moving with the sun as Saint Cyprian called it, enhances the positive and purifying aspects of our work. At this point, you may notice the water taking on a deeper color and the aroma becoming more complex. Saint Cyprian noted that sometimes small bubbles might form around the herbs. This is an excellent sign that the potion is developing its potency. Now comes a crucial moment in our preparation. Add the crushed garlic cloves to the mixture. As soon as they touch the water, stir vigorously counterclockwise 7 times, saying, "By the power of garlic, I cut all bonds of domination and control." This counterclockwise motion, according to Saint Cyprian, helps to undo and reverse negative influences. The aroma will now be quite strong, and the water may bubble more vigorously. Saint Cyprian described this reaction as the battle beginning. The active components of our ingredients are now fighting against the negative energies. After the garlic has simmered for 2 minutes, add the teaspoon of dried oregano to the mixture. As you do, move your hand in a spiral pattern above the pot without touching the hot contents. Of course, and say, "By the power of oregano, all hidden things are revealed, all deceptions uncovered." The oregano will distribute throughout the potion, and the water may take on a slightly cloudy appearance. This is what Saint Cyprian called the mist of revelation forming. The potion is now developing its ability to bring clarity to the mind of whoever consumes it. Finally, add the chopped onion to the mixture. This is the culminating ingredient that activates the expelling properties of our potion. As you add it, say with firm conviction, "By the power of onion, all evil is absorbed and expelled, leaving only purity and health." Once all ingredients have been added, reduce the heat to low and allow the mixture to simmer gently for exactly 13 minutes. Saint Cyprian selected this number specifically for its magical properties. 13 represents transformation and rebirth in many mystical traditions. As the potion simmers, you may see a foam forming on the surface. Saint Cyprian explained that this foam contains the concentrated negative energies that are being drawn out of the ingredients, preparing them for their healing work. You can skim this foam off and discard it, or simply allow it to reintegrate into the potion. Both approaches are valid according to different variations of Cyprian's instructions. After exactly 13 minutes of simmering, remove the pot from heat. Cover it with a clean white cloth and allow it to cool until it reaches a drinkable temperature. During this cooling period, the energies of the potion continue to integrate and strengthen. Our St. Cyprian potion is now prepared and ready for the activation ritual that will empower it to its full potential. Now that our potion has cooled to a drinkable temperature, we move to perhaps the most critical phase of our work, the ritual activation. According to St. Cyprian, without proper activation, the potion remains merely a herbal tea, beneficial, but lacking the spiritual power needed to combat ingested witchcraft. Remove the white cloth covering the pot. You'll notice that the liquid has taken on a deep color and has a complex aromatic scent. This transformation is the first visible sign that our ingredients have released their magical properties. Before we begin the activation, strain the liquid through a clean, natural fabric, cotton or linen is ideal, into a cup or mug. St. Cyprian specified that ceramic or glass vessels are preferable for consuming the potion, as they don't interfere with its energetic properties. Now, hold the cup with both hands, feeling its warmth. Close your eyes and center yourself. The activation ritual requires your complete focus and intention. St. Cyprian taught that at this moment, you become a channel for divine power to enter and charge the potion. With eyes still closed, begin to visualize a brilliant white light descending from above, entering through the crown of your head, flowing down your arms and into the potion. As you visualize this, recite the following words of power that St. Cyprian provided in his grimoire. Let these herbs be my healing. Let these magical herbs extract the evil. If I have ingested through ignorance any witchcraft through food or drink, any intention from someone who envies me, let all evil and disease they have caused be banished. Thus I find peace through the eternal power of God. That with this potion I eliminate all evil, regenerating each cell, energizing my physical, mental, astral, and spiritual state. So be it. Repeat this invocation 3 times, each time visualizing the light growing stronger and the potion becoming infused with radiant power. St. Cyprian explained that the number 3 represents the perfect balance of body, mind, and spirit, the 3 levels on which our potion must work to be fully effective. After the 3rd recitation, open your eyes and look into the potion. According to St. Cyprian's teachings, you may see subtle changes, perhaps small swirls of energy, a slight glow, or a change in the color's intensity. These are signs that the activation has been successful. Now, lift the cup to eye level and make a small clockwise circle with it in the air, saying, "This cup is my chalice of healing and protection." This motion, and Cyprian explained, creates a sacred circle of protection around the potion, preventing any negative influences from affecting it before consumption. Before drinking, there's one final step in the activation process. Hold the cup close to your heart for a moment and state your specific intention clearly. For example, this potion will cleanse my body and spirit of all witchcraft that has been placed in me through food or drink, restoring me to my natural state of health and clarity. St. Cyprian emphasized the importance of this personal declaration, as it tailors the potion's energies to your specific situation. The more clearly you can articulate what you're seeking to heal or release, the more precisely the potion will work. Now drink the potion in 3 sips. Take the first sip and feel it beginning to work in your throat and chest. Take the second sip and visualize it spreading through your abdomen and digestive system. Take the 3rd sip and imagine it reaching every cell in your body, from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. According to St. Cyprian, the activation is now complete. The potion has been charged with spiritual power and your own clear intention, creating a powerful remedy against the specific magical influences affecting you. But our work is not quite finished. There's one more crucial step that Saint Cyprian prescribed to ensure the complete extraction and identification of the witchcraft: the egg procedure. After consuming the potion, we move to what Saint Cyprian called the revelation and extraction phase of our ritual. For this, we'll need a fresh egg, preferably white and obtained from a free-range chicken, if possible. Saint Cyprian taught that eggs have a unique spiritual property. They can absorb negative energies while simultaneously revealing the nature of magical influences. Take the egg in your right hand. According to Saint Cyprian's teachings, the right hand is associated with projective energy and is particularly effective for extraction work. Hold the egg for a moment, feeling its coolness and smooth surface. As you do, set your intention that this egg will serve as a magnet for any negative influences that remain in your body. Now, bring the egg to your stomach area. Begin at the solar plexus, the area just below your ribs, and slowly, with gentle pressure, move the egg in a clockwise circular motion over your entire abdominal region. As you do this, visualize the egg drawing out any remaining negative energies or magical influences. Saint Cyprian provided specific instructions about the pattern to follow. Start with large circles that cover your entire abdomen, then gradually make the circles smaller, creating a spiral pattern that ends at your navel. In his grimoire, he explains that this spiral motion follows the natural energy channels of the body and creates a vortex that pulls out embedded influences. As you move the egg, you may begin to feel sensations in your body. Some people report feeling a warming or tingling sensation. Others describe a feeling of lightness or relief as the egg passes over certain areas. Saint Cyprian noted that these sensations are signs that the egg is actively drawing out negative energies. Continue this spiraling motion for at least 5 minutes. Saint Cyprian emphasized the importance of patience in this process. The extraction cannot be rushed. As you work, you might want to recite a simple phrase with each circle, such as, "Extract and reveal, extract and reveal." After completing the spiral pattern at your navel, hold the egg there for a moment longer. According to Saint Cyprian, the navel is an energetic gateway in the body, making it the ideal final point for completing the extraction process. Now comes the revelation aspect of our procedure. Saint Cyprian provided 2 methods for this. The first method is to crack the egg into a clear glass of water. Observe how the egg behaves in the water. Does it form unusual shapes? Do dark spots appear? Do strands of white rise up like smoke? According to Saint Cyprian's teachings, these formations can reveal information about the type of witchcraft that was affecting you, and sometimes even indicate who might have been responsible. The second method is simpler, but less revealing. Dispose of the egg by burying it in the earth, preferably at a crossroads or at the base of a tree. As you do this, say, "I return this negative energy to the earth for transformation." Whichever method you choose, Saint Cyprian emphasized that the egg should never be consumed after this procedure, as it now carries the extracted negative energies. After completing the egg procedure, you may feel an immediate sense of relief or lightness. This is a positive sign that the extraction has been successful and that the potion is beginning its work within your system. After completing both the potion and the egg procedure, you should be aware of the various effects and reactions that Saint Cyprian described in his writings. These reactions aren't just side effects. They are actually signs that the potion is working effectively to combat the ingested witchcraft. The first and most immediate effect you might experience is a sensation of warmth spreading through your digestive system. Saint Cyprian described this as the sacred fire beginning its purification work. This warmth is a positive sign that the active components of our herbs are engaging with and neutralizing negative influences. Within 30 minutes to an hour after taking the potion, some people experience what Saint Cyprian called the expulsion phase. This might manifest as a need to use the bathroom, sometimes urgently. This is actually a good sign. Your body is physically expelling the negative energies that have been dislodged by the potion. St. Cyprian wrote, "What was given through consumption must often leave the same way." You might also experience a temporary increase in saliva production or even a mild sensation of nausea. Don't be alarmed. St. Cyprian explained that these are signs that your body is recognizing the foreign magical influences and preparing to reject them. These sensations typically pass within an hour or two. On an energetic level, many people report feeling a shifting sensation inside them, as if something that had been stuck is now moving. Others describe it as a feeling of untangling or unraveling. These sensations represent the breaking of magical bonds that had been placed within you. Some people experience emotional releases as well. You might find yourself crying unexpectedly, feeling angry, or even laughing. St. Cyprian noted that these emotional expressions are often linked to the type of control that was being exerted over you. For example, if the witchcraft was intended to cause depression, you might experience a release of sadness as the influence leaves your system. In the hours following the treatment, you may feel unusually tired. This is normal and actually beneficial. St. Cyprian advised resting after the procedure if possible, as sleep helps the body complete the purification process. Many people report having vivid, revealing dreams during this sleep period, sometimes even dreaming of the person who performed the witchcraft. By the next day, most people report feeling significantly lighter, clearer, and more energetic. Decision-making often becomes easier, and there's typically a sense of being more firmly present in your own body and mind. In St. Cyprian's words, "After the darkness is expelled, the true self returns to its natural light." It's important to note that for particularly strong or long-established magical influences, you might need to repeat the treatment. St. Cyprian advised paying attention to how you feel after the first application. If you sense that some heaviness or confusion remains, it's appropriate to perform the ritual again, ideally during the waning moon, when diminishing energies are naturally supported. Before we continue, it's essential to address some important warnings and precautions regarding this powerful ritual. St. Cyprian was very clear in his writings that powerful remedies come with responsibilities, and it's crucial to approach this work with proper respect and understanding. First and foremost, this potion should not be used by pregnant or nursing women. Several of the herbs we've used, particularly rue, contain compounds that could potentially affect pregnancy. St. Cyprian specifically noted this restriction in his grimoire. Similarly, those with serious liver or kidney conditions should exercise caution. The potent compounds in these herbs can place additional stress on these organs. If you have such conditions but still feel you need this remedy, St. Cyprian advised reducing the amounts of rue and rosemary by half and extending the brewing time to 20 minutes instead of 13. It's also important to understand that physical reactions to the potion vary widely from person to person. While some experience strong physical purging effects, others might have primarily energetic or emotional responses. St. Cyprian emphasized that this variation doesn't indicate that the potion is more or less effective. It simply reflects the individual's unique physiology and the specific nature of the magical influence being addressed. Another crucial point that St. Cyprian stressed: this potion should be used only when you genuinely believe you have been affected by ingested witchcraft. It's not meant as a general health tonic or regular preventive measure. Using powerful magical remedies without specific need can create imbalances in your energetic system. If you experience extremely intense reactions that concern you, St. Cyprian advised drinking a glass of milk with a teaspoon of honey, which he described as a gentle way to soften the potion's effects without neutralizing its benefits. Some people report experiencing unusual sensory phenomena during or after taking the potion, seeing lights or shadows, hearing sounds, or feeling touched. St. Cyprian explained that these experiences often represent the magical influence as it's being dislodged and expelled. They're typically temporary and not cause for alarm. Finally, Saint Cyprian warned against using this ritual with an intent to harm others or out of paranoia. The potion works specifically on actual magical influences. If none exist, it simply acts as a mild cleansing tea. Using it with fear or anger as your motivation can taint its effectiveness and potentially create new imbalances in your own energy. By respecting these warnings and approaching this ritual with appropriate reverence, you ensure that St. Cyprian's powerful remedy can work as intended, as a force for healing and liberation. Now let's discuss the complete protocol for using St. Cyprian's potion effectively. Following these guidelines will ensure you receive the maximum benefit from this powerful remedy. Saint Cyprian was very specific about the timing and frequency of this treatment. For most cases of ingested witchcraft, he recommended a cycle of 5 applications. Why 5? In his grimoire, he explains that 5 represents completeness in magical work. It addresses the physical body, the emotions, the mind, the will, and the spirit, ensuring that all levels of your being are cleansed and restored. The ideal schedule is to take the potion once daily for 5 consecutive days. However, Saint Cyprian recognized that preparing the fresh potion daily might not be practical for everyone. In such cases, he advised that taking it every other day is acceptable, though it might require 1 or 2 additional applications to achieve complete cleansing. As for timing, St. Cyprian recommended taking the potion either at dawn or at dusk, what he called the threshold times, when the veil between the physical and spiritual worlds is thinnest. If this isn't possible with your schedule, aim to take it on an empty stomach, at least 2 hours after eating and 1 hour before your next meal. After consuming the potion, wait approximately 10 minutes, then take a tablespoon of olive oil. Saint Cyprian specifically recommended this step, explaining that the olive oil serves 2 purposes. It helps to soothe the digestive system after the powerful herbs have done their work, and it creates a protective coating that prevents any expelled negative energies from reattaching to the digestive tract. If possible, remain fairly inactive for about an hour after taking the potion. St. Cyprian advised sitting quietly, reading, or engaging in light meditation rather than physical activity or stressful work. This allows the potion to work without competition from other bodily processes that require energy. For those who experience strong expulsion effects, such as diarrhea or vomiting, St. Cyprian recommended replenishing with clear broth and herbal tea afterward. He specifically mentioned chamomile tea as being complementary to the potion's effects, helping to soothe while not interfering with its cleansing action. Each time you take the potion, you should repeat the egg procedure as well. St. Cyprian explained that the egg serves a dual purpose throughout the treatment cycle. It continues to draw out negative influences that are being loosened by the potion, and it also serves as an indicator of your progress. You may notice that the egg reveals less dramatic patterns in water as the treatment cycle progresses, indicating that less negative energy remains to be expelled. After completing the full 5-day cycle, St. Cyprian recommended waiting for the next new moon before evaluating whether additional treatment is needed. He believed that the new moon represented a natural point of completion and renewal, making it the ideal time to determine if all negative influences have been fully expelled. How do you know if the treatment has been fully successful? St. Cyprian provided several indicators: improved mental clarity, return of natural energy levels, disappearance of unexplainable physical symptoms, renewed ability to make decisions without confusion, and most importantly, a sense of being fully present in your own body and life. Many people report feeling as though a fog has lifted or a weight has been removed when the treatment has been completely effective. If after the first 5-day cycle and the waiting period of the new moon, you still sense that some influence remains, St. Cyprian advised a second cycle of treatment. For particularly stubborn or long-established magical influences, up to 3 complete cycles might be necessary, though this is rare. Now that you've expelled the negative influences from your body and energy field, St. Cyprian emphasized the importance of establishing proper protection to prevent future attacks. As he wisely noted in his grimoire, the door once opened is known to those with ill intent. The first and most important protective measure is awareness. Now that you understand how ingested witchcraft works, you can be more conscious about what you eat and drink, particularly when in the company of those you don't fully trust. St. Cyprian didn't advocate for paranoia, but rather for mindful consumption. For ongoing protection, St. Cyprian recommended creating a simple protective amulet. Place a clove of garlic, a small sprig of rosemary, and 3 black peppercorns in a small cloth pouch. Carry this in your pocket or bag when visiting places where you feel vulnerable, or keep it in your kitchen as protection for your food and drink. Another powerful protective practice is to bless your food and drink before consuming it. St. Cyprian suggested a simple blessing. Place your right hand over your plate or cup and say, "I bless this nourishment. May it bring only health and strength to my body and spirit." Any negative influence is neutralized and transformed. So be it. This blessing, done with sincere intention, creates a protective energy field around your food that helps neutralize harmful influences. For those who want additional protection, St. Cyprian recommended keeping a small bowl of sea salt in the kitchen, replacing it weekly. Salt has powerful absorptive properties for negative energy, and a fresh bowl acts as an energetic filter for your food preparation area. If you're particularly concerned about a specific person or situation, St. Cyprian provided a special protective tea to drink before attending gatherings. Steep a pinch each of basil, mint and cinnamon in hot water for 7 minutes. Drink this tea before leaving your home, visualizing it creating a protective shield in your digestive system. Remember that the strongest protection, according to St. Cyprian, comes from maintaining your own energetic clarity and strength. Regular meditation, prayer, or whatever spiritual practice resonates with you will help maintain the clear energy field that makes it difficult for negative influences to attach to you in the first place. We've now completed our journey through St. Cyprian's powerful ritual for expelling ingested witchcraft. This ancient knowledge, preserved through centuries in his sacred grimoire, has the power to transform lives and restore freedom to those who have been unknowingly controlled or manipulated. I invite you to share your experiences with this ritual in the comments below. Your testimony could help others who are suffering from similar influences but don't yet understand the cause of their struggles. Our community grows stronger when we share our knowledge and successes. If you found this information valuable, please support our work by subscribing to this channel, giving this video a thumbs up, and sharing it with others who might benefit. The algorithms that control what videos are shown tend to suppress this type of powerful spiritual knowledge. So your engagement literally helps keep this wisdom accessible to those who need it. For those seeking additional protection methods or information on other types of magical interference, I have many other videos on this channel that complement what you've learned today. Each piece of knowledge builds upon the others to create a complete system of spiritual protection and empowerment. Remember that St. Cyprian's greatest teaching was that knowledge is power. The darkness loses its grip when brought into the light of understanding. You now possess a powerful tool for your spiritual sovereignty and self-protection. Until next time, may you walk in strength, clarity, and freedom. Thank you for joining me in preserving and sharing this sacred wisdom.